180 a day. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, 180.
Let me see your hands. Do you have any calluses?
Yeah, I do.
Wow, those calluses are really thick.
You guys don't have any? If your fingers have calluses, that means you're someone who works hard. If you don't have any, you're not working.
In the video, a brick mover in a rural area of China is shown working on site, and the calluses on his hands are very noticeable, so thick that they can't be squeezed. Even though he earns 180 yuan a day, he has to move over 4,000 bricks. Why the focus on moving bricks? Because recently, a story about a millennial getting rich by moving bricks has gone viral on Chinese social media. On April 18th, Chinese media, Cover News, reported the story of He Jilin, a brick mover born in the 1990s from Nanchong, Sichuan. He started working in places like Fujian and Zhuhai in 2016, carrying materials and laying bricks. Over 9 years, he saved up 2 million yuan. He Jilin explained that his work means manually moving construction materials, such as sand and stone, in buildings without elevators. It's a high-intensity, physically demanding job. Moving bricks isn't an internet term. It literally means transporting bricks at construction sites. He said he just worked really hard, from 5 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, learning from the older workers. Now he can move over 2,000 bricks a day. After his second year, he learned how to lay bricks. Now he can earn 800 or 900 yuan a day by moving and laying bricks. He works almost every day, doesn't smoke or drink, and lives a simple life with no social activities. He saved little by little, and eventually built a house in his hometown. It's a 2-story house with white walls and a red roof, surrounded by green mountains and clear water. It looks simple, yet grand. The article went viral, quickly reaching the trending list and sparking many online comments. Many people questioned the authenticity of the story and the intentions behind it. One netizen said, "They're trying to fool us into moving bricks again." Another said, "Editor, can't you just tell the truth? Would you die if you did?" Some even commented, "Another fake story to deceive the public with hidden intentions." People found the story hard to believe, especially since the real estate industry is struggling right now, with developers often failing to pay their bills. How could they possibly pay workers on time? Additionally, construction sites have elevators, so if it were 15 years ago, they might have believed manual brick moving, but not now. Others doubted that earning 900 yuan a day for 9 years could really lead to saving 2 million yuan. But the catch is, you couldn't get sick or take breaks. In reality, it's hard to do that. Finding work is often harder than working itself. The media report might be exaggerated. At the beginning, the rural brick mover said they needed to move 4,000 bricks a day to earn 180 yuan. But how did He Jilin manage to make 800 or 900 yuan a day? If we talk about skill, more experienced brick movers can earn more money, even if their physical strength isn't as good as a younger guy. But the brick movers in the video didn't look that old. They should be making more money, yet in reality, they aren't. In the report, He Jilin downplays the tough labor of brick movers, but in reality, their lives are quite harsh. They start work around 5 a.m., have to quickly grab a bite to eat in a corner during lunch, and after a short break, they continue working until 9 or 10 p.m. One commented, "Not even a word about the health issues. I've been selling sand and cement for 20 years, just making money by working hard, but my body has been ruined as I got older." He Jilin, a rights activist in exile in New Zealand, told foreign media that the news is fake and misleading. It doesn't mention the hardships of laborers, but promotes the idea of generating profits at the cost of one's own health. Even if the story is true, the intense work can cause long-term health problems. Saving 2 million yuan over 9 years could easily be wiped out in a month if you get sick and end up in the ICU. The purpose of this narrative is to push people to drink the toxic motivational Kool-Aid, creating profits and tax revenue for the party and government, draining the last bit of blood from the people. Other netizens commented, "The underlying message is, if you don't have money, it's because you don't work hard enough. What kind of spirit is this promoting? It's terrifying." Praising suffering. This encourages young graduates and unemployed people to join this line of work. Former Chinese rights lawyer Xiaoping said that the Chinese Communist Party propaganda department has fabricated a lie it doesn't even believe in, aiming to divert social attention. The idea is that young people are unemployed or lying flat at home because they aren't working hard enough. In Western societies, leaders know that economic development and employment levels are closely tied to their ability to govern society. When widespread unemployment occurs, the leaders are politically accountable. However, the CCP doesn't view this as a failure in governance. Instead, it shifts the blame away from itself. It's important to note that the current situation is due to the ongoing tariff war. China's economy is in a bad shape. The CCP doesn't acknowledge this as a failure in governance. Instead, it uses brainwashing techniques to distract the public from the fact that it caused the situation. The economic decline in China has been evident since the pandemic in 2019. In 2018, President Trump imposed tariffs on China, gradually pushing for economic decoupling. With the pandemic lockdowns in 2019 and stricter control over foreign companies, the economic downturn has become more apparent. Private companies in China have been closing down, foreign enterprises are moving out, and orders from Western countries are shifting to Southeast Asia. Western Chinese entrepreneurs are turning to overseas investments. Gradually, every sector is facing difficulties. According to the China Culinary Association, over 1 million restaurants shut down in the first half of 2024, with the total expected to exceed 2 million by the end of this year. At the same time, China's banking system is also under pressure. According to data from Financial China IT, 199 small and medium-sized banks, mainly rural financial institutions, were closed in 2024, a number far exceeding the total closures between 2021 and 2023. The real estate crisis is deepening, with local governments burdened by hidden debts. The income from land sales has been declining at a record pace, making it even harder to reverse the budget cuts needed to support the economy. According to Sohu News, by the end of 2023, nearly 700 county-level TV stations in China stopped broadcasting or shut down, and this wave of closures continues to expand. By 2025, nearly 2,000 county-level TV stations across the country will face shutdowns, leading to widespread unemployment among media workers. Veteran media professional Yan Chenggo wrote earlier this year that as the real estate market continues to decline, workers in related industries will also lose their jobs. The poor performance of the financial market will affect employment and consumption. With new investments drying up, old factories relocating, overcapacity in the manufacturing sector, and foreign trade being squeezed, many migrant workers and urban poor have nowhere to turn. Now, even higher-level sectors like cultural education are facing a downturn. The closures of TV stations also impact film production and advertising companies, leaving the industry in a state of stagnation. Unless the consumer market suddenly improves, the industry's decline will only worsen. Yan Chenggo stated that the entire market is deteriorating, and it's unclear where the root cause of the economic slump lies. He believes China's problems stem from the system itself. He said, "The Chinese Communist Party is an evil regime, unrelated to the people, a parasite to Chinese society. It has not brought anything positive to China. On the contrary, it has brought disaster to the country and its people." The public is becoming more pessimistic about the future. The widespread business decline has triggered a chain reaction, with a growing army of unemployed workers. If this continues, it will lead to a dead end. China's economy is facing many challenges: declining export growth, weak consumer recovery, low prices, an unstable real estate sector, sluggish private investment, decreasing foreign investment, and local government financial difficulties. China's economy is already shaky, and the addition of new U.S. tariffs is making things worse. Currently, China's manufacturing export orders are rapidly disappearing, and many factories have suspended production. In key export hubs like Yiwu and Dongguan, numerous factories have temporarily laid off half of their staff and stopped production for weeks. Factories producing toys, sports goods, and low-cost consumer goods have been the hardest hit. Cameron Johnson, senior partner at Shanghai-based consulting firm Tidal Wave Solutions, told CNBC that several factories have informed half of their employees to go home for a few weeks while stopping most of their production. He mentioned that the industries most affected include toys, sports goods, and low-cost retail goods manufacturing. Although the situation has not yet expanded widely, it is occurring in key export hubs like Yiwu and Dongguan, and it's concerning that it may worsen in the future. People are hoping for a reduction in tariffs so that orders can return. Goldman Sachs, a multinational investment bank and financial services company, estimates that around 10 to 20 million Chinese workers are involved in businesses related to U.S. exports. The total urban employment population in China in 2024 is expected to be around 473 million. The New York Post also reported that dozens of garment factories in Guangzhou's Panyu district, also known as the Xi'an Village, have shut down. Due to the U.S.'s cancellation of the $800 de minimis exemption policy and the impact of new tariffs, many factories supplying Xi'an are unable to shift their production lines and have been forced to shut down.
今天来到广州番禺
Today, I'm here at a large factory in Panyu, Guangzhou, with over 100 employees. All the cars have been collected and taken away. This factory was making Shein orders.
This shows that amidst China's economic downturn, the Chinese Communist Party uses the example of the brick mover He Jilin to create propaganda that misleads the public into thinking things are better than they are. Of course, this isn't the first time the CCP has done this. Before He Jilin, there were other stories of young people making fortunes selling street food. CCP state media has even promoted the idea of young people taking off their traditional clothes and working as cashiers, gathering sea urchins, or selling ice cream cones. However, this time, the story of the bricklayer He Jilin is an upgrade compared to previous stories. Netizens pointed out that compared to stories like delivery workers earning over 1 million yuan in 3 years, or someone buying a car after a few months of selling street food, He Jilin's story is even more harmful. The earlier stories at least suggested that money was easy to earn, but the latter directly encourages ordinary people to work like slaves. In July 2022, a blogger posted a video to Billy titled, "Back to the Village for 3 days. My second uncle cured my mental exhaustion." In it, he described the hardships faced by his second uncle. The video was quickly promoted across major Chinese social media platforms and went viral, even being heavily promoted by CCP state media.
This is my second uncle, once the genius of the village. This is my grandmother, an old lady who dances every day. They live in this old house, which was built before America even existed. Second uncle was number 1 in his class in elementary school, and still number 1 in junior high. In the citywide exams, 3 papers were selected from the countryside, and one of them was second uncle's.
However, a medical accident suddenly changed second uncle's fate. One day, after he had a high fever, he went home to rest. A doctor from a nearby village gave him 4 shots in his backside in 1 day, and second uncle became disabled. After the accident, second uncle didn't blame the barefoot doctor or the government. Instead, he relied on his carpentry skills to make a living, and became well respected by the villagers for fixing various tools. Second uncle was also a filial son. At age 66, he always took his 88-year-old mother with him when he went out to work. Additionally, second uncle was kind-hearted. He adopted an abandoned baby girl and spent all his savings to buy her a house. In the video, second uncle is not only portrayed as a kind and respectable elder, but also as someone who enjoys his full life without regrets. Throughout the video, second uncle appears many times but never says a word. The video does not explore, or perhaps deliberately avoids, the deeper social causes of second uncle's hardships. After this fairy tale-like video went viral, the reactions from netizens were polarized. Many were touched by second uncle's wisdom and kindness, viewing it as a heartwarming soup for the soul. However, many others strongly questioned the narrative behind the video. Netizens raised concerns about why second uncle's basic rights were not guaranteed. What was the reason that his disability certificate could not be processed? Where did the problem lie? They pointed out that second uncle's experience highlights serious shortcomings in the local social security system. In this context, the CCP media's promotion of second uncle as a symbol of positive energy seemed to absolve the government of its inaction. If the video misled the public into abandoning their fight for social justice, it would be a harmful and deceptive narrative. Other netizens commented that the widespread promotion of second uncle's story was aimed at telling people not to look for systemic causes. These include victims with frozen bank accounts, homeowners of unfinished buildings, families affected by vaccine side effects, unemployed university graduates, farmers who aren't paid for their work, and those beaten for simply eating barbecue. Instead, they should reflect on themselves and learn from second uncle, silently endure, selflessly contribute, and continue fueling the country. They warned against questioning the system, as doing so could be seen as inciting subversion of state power. Another group of netizens argued that suffering should not be glorified as inspirational, but should prompt reflection on its root causes. Without sufficient introspection, continuing to let the public silently endure would create a shameful society. Some compared the second uncle video to Yu Hua's novel To Live. Both works depict suffering, but To Live, while not addressing the root cause directly, portrays the absurdity of ordinary Chinese people in hardship. In contrast, Second Uncle seems to glorify and praise the era that caused his life's tragedy. This, they argued, is the truly harmful part. While To Live shows suffering without criticizing it, videos like Second Uncle have rebranded suffering as a stepping stone to success. There were others who said that those who have truly experienced hardship would never praise it. Suffering, they argued, should never be praised. State media should focus on how to help millions of people like the second uncle to live better lives, not engage in congratulation. In reality, both Second Uncle and the brick mover He Jilin are tools of CCP propaganda. Former Chinese rights lawyer Wu Xiaoping told foreign media that this kind of propaganda is absurd. In fact, it mirrors the fake propaganda from the Great Leap Forward, particularly in the past decade under Xi Jinping's leadership. It is a repetition of the false narratives from the Mao era. These kinds of stories keep popping up, but the common thread is that they fall apart under scrutiny and are quickly exposed by the public.